Hello. Hello and welcome. Thanks everybody for taking time out of your evening to join us tonight to hear about an exciting initiative in its infancy and to make improvements in the Wrigley area and a potential business improvement district. My name is Rochelle Lewis and I'm a senior consultant with Civic Mike. And we have our translator with us, Paulina Torrey. If anybody would like to have simultaneous Spanish translation of this meeting, would you raise your hand or give us a shout out?
Hola, buenas tardes. Gracias por su tiempo. Gracias por unirse con nosotros a este proyecto emocionante, el inicio de este proyecto en el área de Wrigley y el distrito de negocios. Si alguien aquí presente habla español y quisiera escuchar esta presentación de manera simultánea, por favor levante su mano y háganos saber.
I'm not seeing any hands up. So we'll check in again if we have more attendees that join us a little further into the meeting. So Civic Mike has been working with the City of Long Beach and the Wrigley Business Collaborative with the goal of understanding business owner and property owner views on potential improvements in the area. So we're thrilled to have you here. Just a few housekeeping notes. We will be recording the meeting and the information that we're sharing with the community, in addition to these recordings of this meeting, which will be in both Spanish and English available to share, will be found on our website for the project. It's civicmike.com/Long Beach. And you'll see that again later on the presentation. And you can find, we'll have up within a couple of days the meeting for folks who didn't get to make it tonight, so we can share it around. We will, all of the slides we're presenting tonight will also be there, so feel free to visit, to share with others, encourage others to take a note, to take a look at that website. Just a few ground rules before we jump in. We plan to keep the meeting to an hour. We'll open it up to Q&A at the end of the presentation, so if you have a question or a comment, please make a note of it. We ask you to mute yourself when you're not speaking so everyone can hear what's being presented, and if somebody goes off mute, we'll put you back on so everyone can hear what's being shared. Of course, we're committed to respectful dialogue. In the event that there's any bad behavior, that person will be moved into a private meeting room to regain composure, and then we're allowed to return. And if the behavior continues, they'll be permanently removed. We do not expect that to happen, and it actually has not ever happened. Looks like a very friendly group. So we'll say it at the top of every meeting, though, so everybody can feel comfortable that it will be a respectful forum. So to kick it off, I'd like to introduce Julian Cernuda, representing Long Beach Economic Development Department. Julian.
Hi, thank you, Rochelle. Hi, everyone. I want to echo Rochelle's statement on, giving us some of your valuable time to participate in this meeting. As she mentioned, this is a very exciting opportunity to learn about, where you as a business owner are and to gauge your interest on this. So thank you for that time. As Rochelle said, my name is Julian, and I work at the Economic Development Department, which is a department in the city of Long Beach where the business improvement districts, programs and districts are ran out of. And I'll touch on this a bit later, but I just want to stress that, we have 10 business improvement districts here in the city, and they are a great partner to have from the city's perspective. They help us, as you'll learn here in today's presentation, deliver really great services and that help activate our business corridors and keep them clean and safe. So again, I just want to thank you for being here and appreciate your time. I know as business owners, time is very valuable and short. So thank you for that. And I will now pass it over to Cameron and Justin.
Justin, do you kick off or do I?
Oh, you.
All right. So I have the unique privilege of both being in a business improvement district, specifically the Zaffaria Business Improvement District with my architecture firm. I've been on the board there for, not currently, but through 2 sessions. And I also have property on Pacific Avenue in the middle of the formation of this business improvement district. So my contribution to this is primarily to outline the benefits that I see in the current Zaffaria bid that I'm in, and how that could apply to our area on Pacific. So that being on the board, I was at the initial development of kind of our strategies for the Zaffaria bid. When we first started out, we thought that the bid would be more set up to do promotion and events. And the more we developed it and we listened to the constituents, the more it became about street cleaning and security, and then secondarily events and cross promotion with other events. We ended up developing the Happy Sundays event, which is a super big thing for the Zaffaria, which organically came out of a local music group that wanted to put this together. We backed them, and it's a number of bars that are open for free on specific weekend, and allows these bars and restaurant venues to exhibit the potentials for our neighborhood in Zaffaria. So the application to Pacific, like during the COVID, the bid was the primary way for the city to disperse any kind of grants or other city improvement monies to the businesses. The bid becomes the pass-through agency, or the identifier for what those agencies, or where that money can go to help in whatever regard. And then conversely, the bid also operates in a way that it can represent in the bid business interest back up to the city. So if a specific bid business has a problem with parking, or it has a problem with street cleaning, or it has a problem with organization or noise or something like that, they can represent through the bid in a stronger and more advocated way to the city, in a way that it gives it a lot more meaning. The street cleaning is one of those things that on Pacific we're all doing individually right now. And one of the things that we ended up in Zaffaria doing is actually incorporating street cleaning with our bid revenues. So our bid revenues in Zaffaria are about $130,000 to $140,000 a year. We spend more than 30% of that on street cleaning, and specifically steam street cleaning on the streets. So we have a group set up that we've collaborated with the downtown Long Beach organization to set up street cleaning, and one person goes through and sprays and cleans the street every day, working from one end of the district to the other. So these are things that, like, individually we're all doing as businesses, but cooperatively means that we can pool our efforts in a way that there's greater efficiencies, and it creates more continuity throughout. I think we can all agree that, like, having one business clean up and then another business next to it not clean up, or not clean up at the same time, is kind of disheartening and doesn't help. One of the other things that kind of comes up that we've approached too is like how the bid fees are set up and what's their value. For us, I think my business, I pay like $300 a year, something like that, based on employees and the type of business that I am. I don't see it as a significant expense compared to how much I would be spending independently to clean my own street or do my own steam cleaning and that part. Additionally, one of the things that ended up in the questionnaire, which I'm happy about, and I've pitched, is the idea of using the bid as a parking improvement district, which means that you can actually use revenues, 50% of the revenues off of the meters, to subsidize the street cleaning. So whatever, right now it doesn't happen in Zaffaria, but it happens on other places in 4th Street and some other bids. That allows us to subsidize the street cleaning in a way that costs less for the businesses. And I also greatly appreciate the idea that it gives us a little more parking turnover during the day, when I think it helps with business vibrancy. in that way. So I guess in summary, the bid gives you a seat at the table with the city, both for receiving grants and funds and attention, and then conversely, informing the city what your needs and wants are, and being able to allocate specifically a good chunk of money to the betterment of our area. So I'm a big fan, and I think it's critical in trying to get our kind of nascent early development stages of this business area up and running, and give it some momentum.
Thank
And
you.
I will do a 30
Justin.
second ad. I'll do a 30 second
right.
ad and then turn it over to Blair. I'm Justin Simon. I'm working to help get this bid, moving forward. I'm the small business and business liaison for the Wrigley Association, and just here to represent that the neighborhood organization is behind getting this off the ground, and we'll be doing everything we can to support our businesses in this process.
Great. And both Justin and Cameron are co-leads of the Wrigley Business Collaborative, which is an organization newly formed that would be the sort of agency lead if a bid is formed in making decisions on how the funds get spent. So it's an exciting time to be a business owner in Wrigley. I'm really excited about the energy from you guys. Okay, turning it over to Blair and Blair, I don't seem to have your last name right in front of me, but I'm just going to turn it over to you and let you talk about the experience Bixby Knolls Business Improvement District.
Thank you. Yeah, Blair Cohn, Executive Director for the Bixby Knolls Business Improvement Association. Pardon me. Let's go to that side. Yes. So a little bit about who we are. We're on Atlantic and Long Beach Boulevard, 33rd to 46th Street, and 2 shopping centers just to the north there. In 1989, there was a business association formed, and the businesses wanted to do something to collaborate. But in 1993, we became official business improvement district, merchant based. And that was mostly in response to the April 1992 riots. And the business said, hey, we got to do something to be able to keep it clean, safe, and really be a coordinated organization. And just like COVID and what Cameron had said, once you become a conduit of information, you then are able to disseminate information out to your members. And for us, we're at about 920 business members of all types, service, retail, and restaurant. Let's go to the next slide. So immediately, what did the bid do? It wanted to get the businesses together to understand what they could do together. So there were mixers, social component, but to get to know each other. Those became community happy hours after work to bring the community together. So the community met business owners and to each other, start to build a connected community, because without your local neighborhoods, what do you have? I mean, you need to add community support your business corridors, and that's what we focused on in my tenure here. Then we flipped it. We said, well, let's just do a member-only business breakfast, which has been even better for us because we get everybody together before they have to hit the office or go to their shop. And at our last breakfast, this was 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had about 100 and so different businesses represented. So we really have got this connectivity here. And then every year per the bylaws, we have an annual meeting. And that's really just to report what did we do last year and what are our plans to do for the next year. So the activation part is sharing information between us, the association, and its members, and information we get from members back through us to everybody else. Setting goals, that's what the association did right away. What do we want to focus on? So you'll hear this similar thing across the board. Number 1, streetscape enhancements. I mean, who doesn't want to focus on clean and safe? And if you were to ask the 10 bid directors, they would say the same thing, clean and safe. And that's our motto over and over and over again. Whether it's having a clean team out there picking up trash every day, power washing, trimming trees, they work with your landscaper. We have a private security company that patrols 8 hours a day for us. And we move those hours around just to make sure that we're not too predictable, but we have an extra set of eyes to keep it safe out there. Over the years, we've been able to work with the redevelopment agency and other city funding to do facade improvements. So we're painting buildings, we're fixing lights, especially you want to have it lit up at night. So again, it's attractive and safe in appearance. The buildings are getting painted. We're always looking for art projects, murals enhance, put a there, painting the utility boxes. We put up signage and decals on the ground, especially during the COVID period, just to enhance the experience as you're walking around and being within the district. Let's go to the next slide. And then we talk about events. So we have multiple plates spinning all the time. We're keeping it clean and safe. We're talking to our membership. Membership is engaged with each other through our board members, because our board are not a group of people from outside. It's all peer-to-peer. These are small business owners that make up the board of directors that work with the association directly. What I discovered when I came was the association really was focusing on two big events a year. And I said, well, you're spending 6 months on something where you're putting everybody in the street, and what does that do for our business members? So let's turn that upside down and rethink about it. So instead of twice a year, then we came up with all these programs. So we do 5 or 6 things a month, and each one is designed to have a social component to it, but they are located at a specific business to bring people there. So you can see the list quickly: walking club, supper club, good spirits club, a book club. Of course, First Fridays is our marquee event at the beginning of each month. Our Critical Mass bike ride, that's the Nights Around Turntables, a music group. Our summer concerts in the parking lot series, dance, science, flash events. And why do we do all those? Because when you start to stitch the people that come together to do each different event or each different program, then we have the whole community represented. And then we're spreading a message: support your local business, over and over and over again. And then we do throughout the year special events like Walktoberfest, almost St. Patrick's Day is the week before. And we did a great Taste of Bixby Knolls event, which was very well received and sponsored by one of the council offices. So by doing this over and over and over again, creating a buzz, getting that energy, getting people out and about, coming up with new things that are interesting, you become a destination. Oh, I heard about that, I want to go try it. I've never been there before. Or, we had folks driving from the South Bay and as far as Newport Beach just to come up on Saturday to take a walk with us, because they enjoyed it and they like the neighborhood, and they kind of become loyal to these things. So doing that consistently has been a big part of what we do. And again, another set of plates that it's been for us. Let's do the next one. Communication is absolutely critical. It's something we're committed to every week. If you see, last year we sent 117 emails to our membership, and those are loaded with, sometimes it's economic development department's newsletter or sections of that are very pertinent to what our businesses need to know about. Information from the Small Business Development Center, grant information, webinars, safety and security issues, or tell us what you're doing. And most of our communication, even in our letters, we go old school, we mail them, so we know that everybody's getting our communication. It always says, tell us what you're doing, stay in contact, reach out at any time. And it helps us build not only like an email list, but our dialogue with businesses. So we're talking to them all the time, one-on-one. And then we do our business breakfast. If we have 100 represented, that's great. It gives us time to work the room, talk to everybody before we go and have a formal program. Again, it's critical that we share in a timely fashion anything that the city puts out that is pertinent to our membership. So again, grant funding, the city's loan program, which is great. Anything that you should know about, we want to get it to the membership right away. And then we encourage everybody to collaborate, talk to each other. And that's what our board does, help on their block or their part of the district, become another liaison for us and give us feedback. Let's go to the next one. And then kind of what Cameron said, what are the benefits? Well, you have a voice. You're now you're have a seat at the table with City Hall. You are the conduit. The association is a conduit for your business district. You're not working in a silo. You're not out there alone. You don't, like, I didn't know about this grant. I didn't know you could do this. Well, now you'll know about it right away because all this information is getting dispersed to you. And it's critical that you take advantage of it. And you have a voice back. I have a problem in the planning department. I'm stuck with a permit so-and-so. I want to expand. Who do I talk to? Anything, these things, you can talk to your director or your representative from the association who gets to go up and down the chain at City Hall and ask questions and try to get those answers or connect you to the right person. It's been just about 15 years now, all of the business districts get together. And since COVID, during the COVID times, we're meeting every week. Now it's every other week to talk to each other. So the whole city comes together to say, what's happening with you? What's happening with you? I need a power washer. I need a painter. Or the city council is bringing an item forward. We need to speak about it. We need to write letters of support. We need to go talk to the mayor. So you, again, have a place at the table. And it's great that Wrigley now joins the rest of the city to have an engine that starts to hum like the other business districts. And the more you do, again, you become a destination. I went downtown today, I drove through Wrigley just to take a look. I mean, all the bones are there. You've got it. It's just a matter of injecting that energy. And kudos to those that have already got this started. I think I have maybe one more slide. Yeah. So what's the end game? The end game to all of this is a healthy, vibrant district. You have a voice, you're well protected, it looks good, people feel great walking up and down the corridor, going to business, no issues. It helps your business, it helps you personally. You connect with that community, the more that there's outreach back and forth. And of course, you're drawing people in from all over the place. It's great to have the Wrigley neighborhood support its business district. That's number one. But people from Bixby and Oldsville will want to go down there, the east side, the west side, and South Bay and beyond. So that's kind of like our end game, which is to start at the center of our core and work our way out. But for us, we're always working on our mission, which is support our district for our formation, our mission, our bylaws, but also reaching out to the community to connect everybody with the same message that it takes all of you out there to support your local businesses and help it thrive. And then with that energy and with that more communication and then relationships build. And that's really what we've tried to do for the last 15, 16 years. So that's what I have for now and can answer questions later if you like.
Great. Thanks so much, Blair. Great painting, a great picture. And congratulations on all the amazing work in Bixby Knolls. So we're going to turn it over to NBS analyst Nick Dayhoff, who's going to share. NBS is a firm that has a lot of experience in formation and administration and not the administration, the formation and renewal of business improvement districts, and just the real nuts and bolts, a little bit more technical information about what they are by law and how they get formed. So off to you, Nick.
Thanks, Rochelle. So my name is Nick Dayhoff with NBS. I'm a senior consultant, and I'm going to speak briefly about what a bid is, what a bid can finance, and how a bid is formed. So a bid is just a type of special financing district that provides supplemental services within a predetermined area and is funded through annual assessments paid by businesses or property owners within such area. Bids are managed by a nonprofit group of stakeholders and pool funds for agreed upon improvements that are beyond those provided by the city. And as I mentioned, the assessment may fall on either business owners or property owners. So this slide shows some of the activities that are authorized to be funded by a bid. The big ones that would really apply to this area would be providing security, street and sidewalk sweeping, graffiti removal, maybe some private security and promotion of tourism within the district and marketing activities. Next slide, please. So bids are also allowed to finance capital improvements that are listed here. Not so common with a lot of bids. Most of them focus on the activities on the previous slide, but these are some of the options for authorized improvements, including parking facilities, benches, trash cans, lighting and heating facilities, decorations, parks, fountains, that kind of stuff. Again, not super common, with the various bids in the city. Again, those bids are mainly focusing on the activities on that previous slide. Can we go to the next slide, please? So the first step in the formation process is determining the boundary of the bid. So this slide shows a potential boundary that extends along Pacific Avenue from PCH in the south to Willow Street in the north, and along Willow Street from Golden Avenue in the west to about Long Beach Boulevard in the east. Next slide, please. I would like to note here that the timeline to form a bid is approximately 12 to 24 months. So it's not a simple process, and I'll go over that now. So once you have determined what the boundary of the bid will be, the proposed activities and improvements of the bid need to be established, followed by an estimate of the cost to provide such activities and improvements. Then we need to determine the variables by which the assessment will be apportioned. So if we're going to be levying assessments on business owners, the type of business and the number of employees could be used. Or if we're levying on property owners, we might use land use, street frontage, building area, and or lot area. Next slide, please. Now, if the assessment is going to be levied against property owners, an engineer's report subject to Prop 218 will need to be prepared that identifies the benefits resulting from the proposed activities and improvements, and quantifies the amount of general benefit and excludes the corresponding portion of the budget from the assessment, because only special benefits are accessible to property owners under Prop 218. Next slide, please. So in either case, whether assessments are levied against business owners or property owners, a management district plan will need to be prepared, which includes the boundary map of the bid, a list of proposed activities and improvements, the proposed budget, the method of assessment, any proposed rules and regulations for the bid, and a list of businesses or properties to be assessed and their assessment amount. Next slide, please. So after all that has been prepared, and in order to move forward with City Council, stakeholders will need to submit petitions to the city signed by business owners or property owners in the proposed bid who will pay 50% or more of the proposed assessment. After that, the City Council may adopt a resolution of intention to form the bid at a public hearing date. Notice of public hearing must then be mailed to business owners or property owners at least 45 days prior to the public hearing. And so for business owner assessments, if written protests are received at the public hearing from the owners of businesses that will pay 50% or more of the proposed assessment, no further proceedings to levy the proposed assessment or form the bid shall be taken for 1 year. If we're dealing with the property owner assessment, if assessment ballots are received in opposition from owners of the property that will pay 50% or more of the proposed assessment, the City Council shall not impose that assessment. And finally, if there's no majority protest, the City Council may adopt a resolution of formation and the assessments may be levied. Next slide, please.
All right, thanks, Nick. So I'm going to jump in here and kind of refocus it back to a really important piece of what everybody has talked about, including Nick in his presentation, which is it all sort of starts with identifying the priorities of the business owners in the community so that an actual district plan can be created to lay out what are the activities, the priority activities that need and want to be funded by businesses or property owners in the district. So that's where your input is really critical here. And what you're seeing here on the screen is a survey. Hopefully you all received something in the mail or email that gave you a link to the survey or a QR code to take the survey. You can go to civicmike.com/Long Beach, and this is what you'll see when you click on take the survey. So this tells us a little bit about whether you're an owner or a business, a property owner or a business owner, or both, and what your priorities are. It gives you an opportunity to rank the various types of activities that you heard Blair and Justin discuss. And the more of this information that we can get, the more helpful it will be to inform what kind of a budget what kinds of activities will drive what the overall costs would be, and then what a potential assessment may be on businesses or properties. So this is kind of the key. And so we really encourage you, while we don't have a large turnout tonight at our meeting, we were, as I mentioned, recording this, and we know you probably know other business owners. So we encourage you to share this and encourage them to take the survey so that we can gather this information. It'd be really helpful. Then there's also on the web page a place to subscribe for updates, so that you can find out about the next community meeting, which will probably be later in July, probably an in-person meeting, and you'll get notified about that. And you can also encourage your neighbors and fellow business owners or property owners to subscribe for updates. And then we're really at the end of our formal presentation, but this slide just shows you if after this evening you think of additional questions that you want to reach out and ask. This is a good way to reach us, and we'll make sure that we talk to any of the experts that are in the meeting this evening to get you prompt and accurate answers for that. And at this point, Julian, I know we sort of skipped over examples of other bids. I don't know if you wanted to add anything about that.
I think I think Cameron and Nick did a great job covering the the benefits. The only one, the one I can just want to underscore is that that advocacy piece of just having a clear line of communication with the city is really valuable for us to have an organized voice from a business corridor for the city to understand what the needs are, and provides clarity for us to be good partners and be responsive to the needs of the business owners in that corridor. So that's one thing that I really wanted to highlight. It's very great to have.
Thank you. So at this point, we'll open it up for questions. If you have a question, you can raise your hand by clicking on the reactions button on the bottom of your screen and clicking the raise hand, and we will call on you.
I think Justin wanted to chime in just for
thank you.
One clarification, and the map was correct, but there were a couple comments about it being Pacific Avenue. The goal of this would be to do Pacific and Willow, both of our business corridors. So it's not just Pacific, and the map was correct in the presentation, but a few of the comments just happened to mention Pacific. So I wanted to clarify that.
Great, thank you. The map, I believe, is also up on our webpage, right, John?
Yes, that's correct.
That's right. So you can take a close look at it there, as well as all of the slides will be up there. Any questions? Justin, I know there's one thing that we didn't really talk much about that I know is important to you and the Wrigley Collaborative, and that has to do with the potential grant funding that becomes available to benefit businesses, that only becomes available if you have an actual business improvement district form. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when the bid was tried in Wrigley 20 years ago, one of the big stumbling blocks was the amount of money and the assessments they were looking for small businesses. And there was a lot of confusion about that. And so our goal was to keep that assessment as low as possible for our business owners. We want to ask them to do, financially as, not as little as possible, but informing the bid. It opens us up to a lot of money in grants, citywide, statewide, federal-wide. When we were looking into, what we would have been open to receiving this year, or at least applying for, there was nearly $500,000 in grants that we could have gone after to bring into the neighborhood for all kinds of development activities, marketing, all the things. And so it's not just a matter of what will the funds from the businesses cover, it's opening up that door to get outside money that can really make a much bigger difference than these smaller budgets of street cleaning and safety.
Great.
That's all I have, Rochelle.
Okay, that's great. Any other questions or comments from presenters? Welcome, Holly. Just so you know, the entire meeting is being recorded and available on the web page that you see here on the screen, civicmike.com/Long Beach. So you're kind of coming in toward the end of it, and you're welcome to go there within the next couple of days. We should have the meeting recorded and posted up there.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I'm late.
We
No
do have
problem.
a question from Sarah Grant.
Great.
This is Scott Dito speaking. I've logged in under the wrong credentials. Sorry about that. It sounds like one of the first formal steps that's been completed is defining the boundaries of this bid. Are there any formal steps that have been completed aside from that? And is there an expectation for how long this process might take, when a bid might actually sort of be enforced?
Nick, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so I mean, there's been discussions about the boundary. What you saw on the slide was the Pacific and Willow boundary that's been discussed. You know, I don't want to speak for Justin or the Wrigley Association, but I think this is a good starting point for the bid, at least in terms of the boundary. So I think the next step is, you know, determining what the priorities are. What kind of improvements, what kind of services do we want to see in the area? And accompanying that would be the cost associated with those services and improvements, determining what that is.
Yeah, and I'll add to that that the steps that have been started already are obviously working with economic development to get the funding for the consulting group, to get this started, to get the feasibility study done, to get the survey done. We've started business meetings, formed the Wrigley Business Collaborative. That website will be going up soon. We've started generating emails out to many of our businesses in the area. We have a lot more business to connect with. There will be door-to-door connections going on in the next few weeks. But the kind of foundation has started to be laid. And then as far as your question on timeline, if everything goes perfectly, 12 months. And since nothing in the history of this city has ever gone perfectly, probably closer to 24 is more realistic.
Great, thank you.
Is everybody on this call taking the survey yet? Raise your hand if you've taken the survey. All right, excellent.
And Christine had a question.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Christine, and then I see another question from the screen in is Colette.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
So one of the allowed improvements that I saw was security. And I was just curious about that because when we met with Rex Richardson, we did suggest that the businesses on Willow all pool together and hire a security company. Is that what you guys mean by allowed improvement in the form of security? Or are we talking about, maybe a matrix of cameras? What's a good example of security that, that have been put into place by bid?
Larry, do you want to take that one?
Certainly, yes. So we have hired for more than 10 years now, CSI Security Patrol, who happen to be a member of ours right here on Long Beach Boulevard. And they have their security guards that literally for 8 hours a day, based on budget, obviously, it could be a 4-hour shift or 8-hour shift. Go up and down the corridors, both sides, checking in with business owners, just waving, making sure everything is fine. When we do a night patrol, they're checking the doors, making sure everything's locked front and back. They go down the alleys. If they see somebody, let's say, sleeping on the sidewalk, they will approach them. If it's just like, hey man, we got to have you move on, that's one thing. But if they need help, then they know they have the resources to call, whether it's just fire department or multi-service center. If if somebody's in trouble, you have somebody to call, and then Seaside goes there as kind of our first line to address that. I could either handle it or, if need be, take it to calling PD. But it's been great for us. Hasn't cured everything because I mean it's a tough gig. We need them 24 hours a day on both
Yeah,
sides.
we do.
But it's been great, and we have said we would cut anything else out first, but not
Oh, wow.
security.
Okay, thank you. That puts a big context into, yeah, because I was like, really, instead of police presence, security suggested, but I guess that makes sense.
Well, and this is Cameron. So I have a contribution to make to this too. So Zephyria, we couldn't afford a security service and still maintain the maintenance stuff that we wanted to do. We instead courted and got a grant to install security cameras in some of the high crime traffic areas.
Yeah.
And then it got all goofy. So like we
Oh.
spent like $300,000 installing the cameras, and they're supposed to go to the Long Beach police, but it never got negotiated about how they would actually get hooked up. And then there wasn't a maintenance plan, so that fell apart. And so I think we failed in that regard. We have them and they're not operable.
Okay.
But we also ran into liability issues with trying to hire our own security thing. I think that's why Blair's talking about going to outside companies that manage all that. But it's definitely something to consider.
Yeah. Because I was thinking we do have a lot of, happening we're on Willow and close to Magnolia. So we get police coming here asking if we have footage of something that happened at that intersection. And a lot of businesses have cameras pointed to our establishment. So we don't really pan the streets. And so we don't really have that, that kind of footage. But I was thinking, because it is a busy street, and Pacific is probably the same, if we could do I think, is it Ring or Nest that did, residential matrix doorbell? So, camera doorbells, and that way everyone can collectively cover a lot of the street and the sidewalks, but maybe that's way down the road. Okay, sorry for that question.
No, thanks so much, Christine. Thanks for your patience, Poulette. You can unmute yourself. Thank you.
Hello, actually that's the wrong credentials. My name is Ignacio. I'm representing a family that owns a couple business here on Willow Street for about 25 years. And we're always looking for the next thing for the Wrigley area. What I hear is about the security and the cleanliness. That's like a hands-on thing. It's great to have grants and all that, but it's just like we got to get a move on what the community needs and wants. And this would be super helpful if we do get this help and open up avenues for businesses, new businesses, and the place to be, which would be another part of Long Beach, is the Wrigley area. We run a farmer's market on Sundays, and I speak to neighbors and residents and business owners, and everybody's looking for an opportunity to be somewhere, or opportunity to open up a business, and proudly say, it's here in the Wrigley area, so this is all good for us. It's been like a conversation of, it's kind of been neglected, or, it's what it is now. But it's just always giving people hope, you know what I mean? Giving us hope that we can make it better, And thank you for having me on.
Thanks so much for being here and for getting engaged and supporting the effort to spread the word.
Totally. Thank you for hearing me out.
Anybody else? Questions for the group? I'm going to put back up here the contact information for Civic Mike. Long Beach, we're working with both the city and the Wrigley Collaborative. I know that the Wrigley Association is also just, you know, in direct dialogue with a lot of you as well, which is great. And we're all working as a team here to try to collect information about folks' priorities so that we can take the next step here. So. Not seeing any other hands up. So I think with that, we can end just a few minutes early. And thank you all so much for your time and your interest. And we hope to see you at the next meeting.
And
Great.
more of us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.